Broadcasting live from the Meridics via OBS Studio Broadcast Center at Centennial Sportsplex. This is GNASH Hockey on the Middle Tennessee Sports Network as we welcome you to opening night of the 2022-2023 GNASH season and opening night on season 14 of the Middle Tennessee Sports Network's coverage of Nashville's High School Hockey League. As we get ready for a season like no other, where we have had 16 teams split into two tiers of 8 based upon which postseason tournament they played in last year. They'll do one run through their tier, and then at the end of that first phase, 4 teams will play each other to see if either of them swap tiers for the second run through, which will determine the seeds for the postseason. As tonight we bring you an opening night doubleheader, Summit Page, who saw Station Camp move away from them during the offseason, take on the Tennessee Outlaws, followed by Independence taking on the reigning Predators Cup champions, Ravenwood. So like I said, we have 16 teams in the league this year. They have been split into tiers of 2 based upon which postseason tournament they played in last year. Any Predators Cup teams are in Tier 1. Those are Ravenwood, MBA, Brentwood, Centennial, Mount Juliet, Green Hill, Lebanon, Franklin, BGA, Independence, and Pope John Paul II, CPA, GCA. And then in Tier 2, we have Hendersonville, Tennessee Outlaws, Father Ryan, Nolensville, Ensworth, Lipscomb, Summit Page, Station Camp, Liberty Creek being the new high school in Sumner County, USNBA, Nashville Christian, and the Rutherford Rampage, GNASH's newest supplemental team, formerly Blackman Stewart's Creek Smyrna. So beginning tonight and running through November 14th, each team will play the others in their respective tier once. At the end of that run-through, the bottom 2 finishers in Tier 1 and the top 2 finishers in Tier 2 will be put into a 4-team pool, and they'll do one round of pool play to determine if any of those teams will switch tiers for the second phase of the season, or for the third phase of the regular season. The top 6 finishers in Tier 1 and the bottom 6 finishers in Tier 3 will all be idle during that brief period, and they'll return in Phase 3. Teams that finish in the top 6 in this first part of the regular season will play in the Predators Cup. Teams that finish in the bottom 6 will play in the Hein Cup. The other 4 will play each other to determine if either of them switch tiers. If there are switching tiers, then that's where they'll be, not just for the rest of the regular season, but for the postseason too. Then, once everybody is settled into their tiers for the final phase of the regular season, we'll do one more run through. Everybody's points will be reset to 0 because that phase, the third phase of the regular season, will be used to determine seeds for the postseason tournaments. Then, as far as the GNASH Cup is concerned, the 6 teams that managed to stay in Tier 1 for Phase 3 will have their Phase 3 points and their Phase 1 points combined to determine who wins the GNASH Cup. So we could have one team win the GNASH Cup as regular season champs and another team be the 1 seed for the Predators Cup. So it could get very interesting later in the regular season when we get into January. Anyway, let's talk about the 2. Actually, let's go over the schedule first. We got 4 games this evening coming up in just a few minutes here on Rink A at Centennial. Summit Page and the Outlaws. Rink 2 at Bellevue at 8 o'clock. Brentwood, the GNASH Cup champs, taking on JP2 CPA GCA. 8:30 over on Rink B here at Centennial. Centennial taking on Franklin BGA. And then at 8:40, Independence taking on Ravenwood here on Rink A. Let's talk about the 2 teams playing tonight's game. Summit Page first. Of course, last year they were Station Camp Summit Page. And they won the they won the Henry Hine Cup, beating Nolensville Ensworth Lipscomb in overtime. But then Station Camp moved away from this co-op and decided to form a co-op with the newest school in Sumner County, Liberty Creek. Lost. So they lost. And I don't know why my internet's being so slow tonight. Okay. So they lost quite a few players. Tegan Bartz was their leading scorer from last season. He's a Station Camp player, so he's gone. Liam Clancy was the only senior on that whole team, so he was the only one to graduate. They got back Mason McKinnon. I think it was McKinnon who scored the overtime winner to win the Hine Cup. Mason Breedlove is back. Daniel Lawrence, James Gilmartin. I think he's a new player. Jackson Crawford, Cameron White, Jacob Placentia, Evan Duffy, Nathan White. Graham McLaren was one of the Station Camp players who left. And, of course, last year they had two goalie pool goalies. They didn't have their own goalie. They used Sam Hill and Garen Darby, both from the Outlaws. But this year they have three goalies, two freshmen. One is two freshmen. One is Jack Greenwell. The other is Brady Tessier. Tessier is injured. So sophomore Jacob Wagner will be backing up Greenwell this evening. So the team does have two goalies of their own. However, two of the Page players who didn't come back were their second and third leading scorers. Sheldon Rue, the second leading scorer, moved to Colorado with his family in June. And Zach Ellis apparently opted not to play this year, but they are hoping that the third leading scorer from last year will change his mind. They're also hoping that Noah Kopecki will come back as well. There are 26 players on the Summit roster, 16 on the Summit Page roster, 16 from Summit and 10 from Page. Let's talk about Outlaws. The Outlaws were among the last four in the Hine Cup last season. And I have no idea why my internet is being so slow tonight. Yeah, the Outlaws finished fourth. Yeah, they finished fourth in the Hine Cup. They were knocked out by Nolensville Ensworth Lipscomb, who beat them twice in the playoffs last year. Now, the Outlaws, new supplemental team in the league this year, Rutherford Rampage, formerly Blackman Stewart's Creek Smyrna, and a few of those Rutherford County players have moved over to that team. Cam and Carson Brownlow and Taz Takayama. Zeke Lopez graduated. But there were two Rutherford County players who stayed on the team. Daniel and Jacob Rodriguez, who go to Franklin Road Christian School, which is on Highway 96 in Murfreesboro, just before you get to I-24 off of the exit 78. So they're still in the Outlaws team. The names that graduated, Cody Oberholzer, like I said, Zeke Lopez, Wyatt Burt graduated. But they brought back Caleb Kuhn, their leading scorer from last year. Jacob Schenk is also back. Josh Kuhn, their fourth leading scorer. In fact, all four of their five leading scorers from last year are back. Aiden Suss as well. Connor Ivey is back. Gage Eastland. Eli McLemore. Caleb Riapelli graduated, but they still have Braden Cyphers and Daniel Rodriguez, both of whom are playing their senior years this year. And they got a third-string goalie, Justin Yanuchili from Spring Hill. He goes to Spring Hill just like Braden Cyphers does. And the Outlaws, for the first time in quite a number of years, have a lot of seniors on their team this year. Caleb Kuhn, Benicio Ricard, Mac Brothers, Aiden Suss, Gage Eastland, Wyatt Whalty, Braden Cyphers, Daniel Rodriguez, Connor Ivey. But other than that, pretty much everybody from last year except for the kids who went to play for the Rampage are back. Digging the slick red sweaters that Summit Page are sporting tonight. Not a lot of Outlaws fans on this side of the ice. As we're into the final minute of pregame warm-up. Monday, be back here at Centennial over on Rink B. Bringing you Brentwood Centennial, pregame 7:50, puck drop at 8 o'clock, and then next Wednesday, back here on Rink A for another doubleheader. Ravenwood against Centennial. Website says 7 o'clock. I'm pretty sure that should be 7:10, and then at 8:30, Franklin BGA against Independence. Braden Cyphers already in the crease for the Outlaws. Outlaws will carry the puck from my left to right for this first period. Summit Page from my right to left. They got new lights in here. They put new lights here in Rink A over the summer, and man, is it bright. And it's Jack Greenwell. In net for Summit Page, the freshman from Summit. And we're underway in the first game of the new GNASH season with the puck in the Summit Page zone on the far side. Going behind the net, sending it around to the far side, Jacob Placentia. Now Cameron White, one of the 10 Page players in the team, getting it over to the near side, trying to clear it out. Page controlling it in their zone again and sent into the left wing corner from up high by Caleb Kuhn. And now brought through center into the Outlaw zone on the right wing side. Put out in front and sent past the net. Sending it past the net was Caden Cross. On the centering pass was Mason Breedlove. Mason McKinnon trying to hold it in at the left point. Cleared out by Josh Kuhn. Puck's out at center. Kuhn trying to drop it back for Hayden Hall. Hall, a junior from West Creek in the Montgomery County area. As both sides make some changes to the line as puck is in the Outlaw zone. Gage Eastland passing it ahead to center. Jacob Rodriguez trying to get it ahead to Aiden Suss. Puck at the end boards in the Summit Page zone. Suss, left wing corner, wanted to put it out in front. Still on the far boards. Caden Cross will carry it out. Ahead for Jacob Wagner, whose shot was turned away by Cyphers. And Connor Ivey clearing the puck out, but not very far. Brought back in on the right wing side by Cross. Cross in the circle. Tried to get it over, and now Cross, high slot, a shot that went off a leg and past the net. And the puck cleared out by Jacob Rodriguez. Puck back in the Outlaw zone, but right on the stick. Number 76, there's Daniel Lawrence with a shot that's gloved and held on to by Braden Cyphers. And we get our first whistle of the game after 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Bob Cobb, Robert Cobb, Bob they call him, had that clearing attempt intercepted at center. Draw to the right of Cyphers, won by Summit. Puck in the left wing corner. Lawrence. Now Hunter Haley wanted to put it out in front. That's behind the net. Eli McLemore out on the far side. Ahead to Benicio Ricard, who carries to center. Ricard lost the puck. It's in the Summit Page zone. Spartans have it, and they'll bring it back into the Outlaws end on the right wing side. Mason Breedlove turning at the half wall, driving it back up top, and a shot from Daniel Lawrence was blocked. Lawrence now bottom of the right circle, trying to get it towards the net. Hunter Haley trying to bang it in, and it is underneath Cyphers at the far post, underneath his leg pads, just in front of the goal line. 10:55 to go in the first, no goals on the board. Summit Page with 4 shots. Draw be to the left of Cyphers. Won by the Outlaws. Puck sent around to the near boards. Cleared out. It's in the Summit zone. Put out in front for Jacob Schenk, and he whiffed on it. Caleb Kuhn with a centering pass from the right circle. Puck rolling on its edge back into the Outlaw zone. Hayden Hall shaking off a hit from Nathan White. Passes the puck to the middle lane, and Jacob Schenk shake out at center. Ahead to Caleb Kuhn on the left wing side. Kuhn putting it in front. Shake a shot. Stopped by Jack Greenwell. A freshman makes his first GNASH save. Schenk with a shot. Missed the net. To the right of Greenwell. Schenk now in the right wing corner, trying to put the puck out in the slot. Summit Page with it now. And they try and clear. Held in by the Outlaws. Puck going back towards the net. Picked up by Jacob Placentia. Put out on the far side. Now it's going back behind the net. Outlaws with it. Tried to put out in front, but everybody in the white sweaters were spread out. Brought back in by Josh Kuhn. Caleb Kuhn, and his shot missed the net to the right of Greenwell. Puck still at center, or puck brought to center. Jackson Crawford, who will be expected to score a lot of goals for Summit Page this year. Pushed into the far boards, the puck taken away. Jacob Schenk backhands it back into the Summit zone. Puck back in the Outlaws end, cleared out by Cobb. Going to be brought back in by Aiden Garner. Garner, left wing, shot off the right leg, or up the left leg pad of Cyphers. And then another shot from James Gilmartin also went off of Cyphers' left leg pad. And he scoots over to his left to cover up the puck and keep it out of the net as Cyphers making some huge saves on another Summit Page rush to keep this game goalless. With 8:46 to go in the first, draws to his left. Won by the Outlaws, but intercepted inside the zone by Summit. Here's Gilmartin trying to go to the slot. Fell over trying to get past Eli McLemore. Puck loose in the left circle, sent towards the net by Sean Scott. And then the rebound was sent over the net by Gilmartin. Puck held into the right point, but then taken off of Garner from behind by Gage Eastland. Now here's Aiden Suss. Back in the Summit zone on the right wing, gets pushed down. And the puck cleared out by Summit. Puck back in the Outlaw zone. Eli McLemore, far side. Clears it out to center, but it hit the skate of Jacob Lacentia. Came back in, but there was a Summit player offside, so he could not touch the puck when it came back in. Eli McLemore at center, passing off to Eastland. Now Suss banks it off the far glass back into the Summit zone, but the Spartans control. And now we're going to have a too many men penalty. And who is it against? Is it against Summit? Looks like it's against the Outlaws. Aiden Suss is going to serve the penalty, so 7:30 to go in the first. No goals on the board. First power play of the season goes to Summit Page. Draw will be to the right of Braden Cyphers. Draw one by Summit. Puck over on the far boards. Caden Cross trying to backhand it up the wall to Mason Breedlove, but it's intercepted and cleared by Josh Kuhn. Josh Kuhn was an 8th grader last year going to West End Middle. Now he goes to Hillsboro with his big brother Caleb, but Caleb's a senior, so for the only year they are in high school together. Puck was in the Outlaw zone and cleared. Jackson Crawford will track it back down inside the Indy zone. Puck back in the Outlaws' end. It's in the right wing corner, Cameron White. Pushed up against the boards. Now Caden Cross comes in. He's behind the net. Wanted to put it out in front. Hayden Hall put him into the boards. Now Cameron White trying to backhander at the far side of the net. It's turned away by Cyphers. White with a puck again out on the far side. Right circle, a shot, missed the net to Cyphers' left. Here's Kuhn. Josh Kuhn clearing. 45 seconds left in the power play for Summit Page, who have 8 shots on goal in this one to the Outlaws 1, but haven't put the puck in the net yet. Here comes Summit on another rush. Aiden Garner, left wing side of the Outlaws zone, moving to the slot, taking a shot. It's blocked and cleared out by Robert Cobb. Garner again at center, ahead for Sean Scott. Scott, left wing side of the Outlaw zone, holding, shooting, turned away by Cyphers. Mason McKinnon trying to send it towards the net, but it went past the stick of Jacob Wagner. Puck sent back into the Summit zone as penalty time against the Outlaws is up, and they're back at even strength. So they only gave up 1 shot on that power play. Puck back in their zone. James Gilmartin dropping it back for McKinnon, who drops it down the right wall. Back to Gilmartin. Gilmartin behind the net, put it way out in front. Aiden Garner over to McKinnon. McKinnon right circle shot, hit Shank. He didn't get a lot of power on it anyway. And now a 2-on-1 maybe for the Outlaws. Jacob Rodriguez sending the puck back into the Summit zone. If he'd been able to get that puck on his stick, he might have had a 2-on-1. Tried to bring it out in front. It was intercepted. Here comes Gilmartin back into the Outlaws zone. Leaving it for Sean Scott, whose shot missed the net to the left of Cyphers. And now here's Gage Eastland. Puck was poked away from him right as he crossed the Summit blue line. Jacob Rodriguez. Back across to Aiden Suss. Suss, who's serving the penalty for the Outlaws. Sends it deep, now behind the net. But lost it as he was coming around to the near side. Puck sent back into the Summit zone from center by Wyatt Welty. Puck cleared out. Now brought back into the Outlaw zone by Haley, and his shot stopped and covered up by Cyphers, who didn't see where it was at first. Luckily for him, Daniel Lawrence was kept away from the net. 4:12 to go in the first. No goals on the board just yet. Draw to the left of Cyphers. One by Summit. Can they keep the puck in the zone, though? Yeah, they can. Trying to get it to the slot for Lawrence. That was intercepted. And now we're going to have a penalty. Or offside. Okay, offside. It's offside against the Outlaws going back the other way. It kind of looked like to me an Outlaw skater tripped over a Summit stick, and I thought they were going to call a trip, but no, it's just offside. Draw on the dot in front of the Summit bench, won by the Spartans. Sent into the Outlaws zone. It's behind the net. Braden Cyphers slowing it down for Hayden Hall. Hall bumped off the puck by Lawrence. And there's a shot turned away by Cyphers at the near post. His right-hand post. That shot coming from Hudson Halters, one of the freshmen on this Summit Page team. One of the many freshmen. There are a lot of freshmen on this team. He's also one of the 16 Summit players. Puck out at center. Benicio Ricard. Across to Josh Kuhn, but it went off the boards and was intercepted by Evan Duffy. Now Josh Kuhn with it for the Outlaws. Passing it up the near side, back into the Summit zone. Now Mason Breedlove bringing it back into the Outlaws zone on the right wing side. Got stretched a little too far, trying to move over to the left wing side. And then Evan Duffy took a bump, but now we're going to have a hooking call against the Outlaws. Josh Kuhn serving it, so Summit Page go back in the power play. No goals on the board. 2:47 to go in the first. I mentioned Evan Duffy. Page player, he is a senior. He played for Page when they were co-oping with Centennial in his first two seasons in the league. Of course, played with his brother Ethan. Here's Jacob Schenk, left wing side of the Summit zone, a shot. Missed the net, or did Jack Greenwell get a piece of it? Jack Greenwell's faced one shot, maybe faced another, a backhander missed the net. Oh, Schenk tried to be nifty, and he backhands it wide. Puck back in the Outlaws zone. And that's a big chance wasted for the Outlaws. They have not had many offensive chances in this first period. Summit have dominated the puck. Mason Breedlove moving down left wing, a shot, score! It floats over the left shoulder of Cyphers into the back of the net. And Summit Page score the first goal of the season. I think it may have deflected off an Outlaw defender that caused it to float up just over the left shoulder of Cyphers. Mason Breedlove, the first goal of the season, makes it 1-0. Summit Page with 2:01 to go in the first. So Summit scoring their 11th shot. Outlaws still with just the one. Puck back deep in the Summit zone. Outlaws trying to put it out in front. Here's Aiden Suss. Now Gage Eastland double teamed, lost the puck, but the Outlaws get it back. Shot from Jacob Rodriguez misses the net to the right of Greenwell. Now Summit trying to move it out, and they do. Pushed back into the Outlaw zone. This could be an icing. It will be. Gil Martin forcing it out and unable to catch up to it. 82 seconds to go in the first, 1-0. Summit Page lead. Draw was to the right of Greenwell. That's the first face-off in the Summit zone of this whole game. Puck trickling back into the Outlaw zone. Going to be caught up to, I think. Yep. Well, I thought Sean Scott was going to get to it. Now here's Scott right out in front. A shot stopped by Cyphers. Jacob Wagner flipped that through the air over the net. Scott caught it, dropped it, got the shot away. Now Scott high slot a shot blocked by Aiden Kemp. And then his rebound try went wide. Final minute of the first now. Benicio Ricard at center. Puck back in the Summit zone, but offside. Looked like A.J. Malloy stepped over the line right when Kemp was going for the puck. 38 seconds to go in the first, still 1-0 Summit Page. Draw on the dot across from the Summit Page bench. Won by Summit. 30 seconds left of the period. Puck brought back into the Outlaw zone. Nice moves, a shot, score! Hunter Haley, the freshman, with a nifty move around a defender in the right circle, gets to the net and he roofs it to make it 2-0. Summit Page with 22.6 seconds to go in the first. Draw one by the Outlaws. Puck brought back into the Summit zone and a shot turned away by Greenwell. Just the second shot on goal he's turned away. That was from Caleb Kuhn. Puck held in at the right point by Connor Ivey. Shot stopped. And then the rebound try stopped as well by Greenwell. That was Caleb Kuhn crashing the net as the puck is cleared out, and that is it for the first. As Summit rushed the net, and rushed the net. Braden Cyphers made save after save after save, but then one from Mason Breedlove found its way into the back of the net, and then just a nifty move by Hunter Haley to get around a defender and roof the puck. Make it 2-0 Summit Page. Jack Greenwell still in goal for Summit. Braden Cipher is still in goal for the Outlaws for this second period. Summit Page will move the puck from my left to right, and the Outlaws from my right to left. Greg Sowers still, Caleb Kuhn with a shot. Stopped by Greenwell, and the rebound sent past the net. I was rudely interrupted there by that. Greg Sowers still coaching Summit Page. Matt Swinney is still coaching the Outlaws. As back the other way goes Caden Cross. He's double-teamed trying to get to the Outlaw net and forced off the puck. Now he has it back. It's behind the net. Jackson Crawford bringing it out to the near side. Taken away. Puck back in the Summit zone. Aiden Garner just keeping it away from Kuhn. If Kuhn had gotten it away, he might have been in a breakaway. Here's Jacob Shank, right wing side of the Summit zone. Passing it across into space for Caleb Kuhn. Kuhn with it below the goal line. Whiffed on a centering pass attempt. Now it's out on the right circle. A shot scored. Jacob Shank fires the puck into the back of the net. And then their sixth shot on goal. The Outlaws get on the board. Exactly a minute into the second. It's 2-1 Summit. Jacob Shank Jr. at Hillwood. One of the few Metro, or one of the many, there's a turnover inside the Outlaw zone. Getting knocked down as he tried to go to the net was Jacob Wagner. I was about to say, one of the, wouldn't say many, I wouldn't say few Metro Nashville kids on the team. Here's Gage Eastland inside his own zone, bringing the puck out to center. He'll carry it into the Summit zone. I thought Jacob Rodriguez was offside. There's a shot from Aiden Suss at the left point, gloved and held onto by Greenwell. 12:27 to go in the second, 2-1 Summit Page. Draws to Greenwell's right. Draw one by Page. Dropped into the Outlaw zone by Hudson Halters. Puck put right out in front for Halters, and it's poked off his stick very daringly by Braden Cyphers. Puck back in the Summit zone, picked up by Jacob Placentia. The puck came over the net right in front for Halters, but Cyphers poked it off his stick. Here's Aiden Suss. Back at center, into the Summit zone on the left wing side. Suss, a shot off the right leg pad of Greenwell, and then the puck comes back into the crease off the boards, and Greenwell covers. 11:41 to go in the second, 2-1 Summit as the Outlaws are starting to pick things up on offense. Suss, a senior at Montgomery Central. Some Montgomery County players in this team. Draw was to the right of Greenwell. Won by Summit. Mason Breedlove streaking into the Outlaw zone. Down the side in front of backhander. Oh! Did he get the shot off or not? I don't know if he did. Puck held in at the left point. Aiden Garner's shot stopped by Cyphers. He's got it covered. But Mason Breedlove had a breakaway, and I don't think he shot the puck. I think Cyphers closed the door on him and wouldn't let him shoot. I was about to say, a lot of Montgomery County kids in this team, especially since the Clarksville rink will open up in January. Too late to mean anything for this GNASH season, but maybe for next year. The Hendersonville rink was supposed to have broken ground this summer. It has not yet, and they were supposed to have broken ground in that humongous sports facility in Murfreesboro that it would include 2 hockey rinks. They haven't yet. Puck brought out to center, Benicio Ricard, into the Summit zone. Puck got away from him behind the net. He gets it back in the left wing corner, sends it up top to the left point. Back across, one-timer Eli McLemore missed the net to the left of Greenwell. Elijah Freeman puts it out in front, but it's intercepted. Brought out by Evan Duffy, intercepted by Nathan White. Duffy sends it deep in the Outlaw zone. Aiden Garner intercepting a clearing attempt, holds it in, his shot blocked. Puck behind the net. Held in at the right point and a shot blocked. A shot from Jonah Ferguson, another one of the Page freshmen. And a clearing attempt held in by Placentias. He's moving down the left wing side. Puts it out in front. Here's Caden Cross. And his shot missed. That happens a lot. Jackson Crawford, left circle, shot, stopped by Cyphers, he's got it covered. 9:33 to go in the second, 2-1. And we got some pushing and shoving after that whistle. It's broken up. 2-1 Summit Page. And is Benicio Ricard going to be sent to the back? I think we're going to have coincidentals here. Ricard and Cameron White are both going to go in. So coincidentals, it'll stay 5-on-5. Draw be to the right of Cyphers. There are 11 freshmen on this Summit Page team. 6 of them are Page players. In fact, there are a lot of seniors and a lot of freshmen. There are 3 sophomores and 4 juniors. Oh, wow, there's a major put up on the board against Joshua Kuhn. Or is it Benicio Ricard? Because he is leaving the bench and going back to the locker room. Josh Kuhn is coming to sit on the bench, so it's Ricard who's been kicked out. We're back underway. Summit Page with the puck. The scoreboard above the concession stand is not working right. The scoreboard right near me is working right. Bodies falling down near the Outlaw net as they're trying to get the puck out of there. And they do. It's back in the Summit zone on the right wing side. Jacob Schenk passing the puck up top to the right point. Connor Ivey shot turned away by Greenwell. Schenk behind the net. Coming out to the right wing side. Now moving back down. Trying to put it in front, and it hit the left skate of Caleb Kuhn when he was going to the net. Now Kuhn getting a pass from Bob Cobb, but it's taken away and cleared by Ferguson. Jonah Ferguson. Puck cleared out. But then intercepted and brought back in by Mason McKinnon. His shot is over the net from the left circle. Puck put out in front. Intercepted and cleared by Connor Ivey. It's back in the Summit zone. Breedlove keeping the puck away from Jacob Schenk, and he's out at center now. Back into the Outlaw zone, taking a shot. Missed the net to the right of Cyphers. Now another shot from Breedlove as the puck came back to him, stopped and covered up by Cyphers. 7:48 to go in the second. 2-1 Summit Page lead. Draw was to the right of Cyphers. Won by Summit Page. A shot from McKinnon. It's turned away. And now puck poked out by Aiden Suss at the left point. Suss dropped his left glove. Trying to center it for Gage Eastland in front of the Summit net. It's intercepted and cleared by McKinnon. Now Cameron White, left wing side of the Outlaw zone with a shot. Stopped and covered up by Cyphers. Play becoming a little more open here in the second. Draw one by Summit. Draw was to the right of Cyphers, and a shot turned away by Cyphers from the boards. Sean Scott. Puck brought out in front, but getting pushed off and drawing a penalty was Cameron White. The Summit about to go back in the power play unless they score, commit a penalty themselves. Gil Martin across, Cam White, bottom of the right circle. Try to go back across, it's intercepted. It's Eli McLemore going to the box. I didn't see what the signal was. Looks like he said he cross-checked. He made the cross-checking motion. So Summit Page back to the power play, up 2-1 with 6:45 to go in the second. And a change in league leadership in the spring. Dan McDonald, after 2 terms as commissioner, 4 years, stepped down. Kevin Bond, father of former Summit Page player Tanner Bond, is now the new commissioner. Our former Centennial Page player, Tanner Bond. And Mac Brothers must be a 2 and a 10. Something's going on here because Mac Brothers is now sitting in the penalty box next to Eli McLemore. And now something screwed up here on the board because they just put McLemore's penalty on the guest side and it reads 2-12. They're trying to put a brand new penalty up there. Draws to the right of Cyphers, and I think they've said, let's live with it. Why did Ricard get thrown out? I called him for fighting. Okay, so Benicio Ricard was called for fighting. That's why he got kicked out of the game, a 5 and a 10. Here's Aiden Garner as Summit Page on the power play here. Past the slot, Caden crosses shot, blocked by an Outlaw stick, and that caused him to drop his stick, and then he cleared the puck out with his hand. Really nice D by Wyatt Whaley, one of the Montgomery County players in the squad, a senior at Clarksville Northeast. Cameron White, the puck just inside the Outlaw zone was poked off his stick by Jacob Schenk. Now Cameron White again, left wing side of the Outlaw zone. Moving past the goal line, around the back of the net, comes out to the right wing. Pass off. Caden Cross's shot turned away. It was either turned away or it missed the net. Garner now with space. Taking a shot. Oh, what a goal by Aiden Garner. A beauty into the top right-hand corner of the net to give Summit another power play goal and put them up 3-1 with 5:29 left in the second. Garner, a freshman defenseman. Another one of the Summit players. Draw one by Summit. Brought back in the outlaw zone and a shot turned away by Cyphers. That shot coming from Sean Scott. Here's Aiden Suss at center now. Bringing it into the Summit zone. Got nobody in a white sweater with him, though. Now he's got a couple of friends. Went out back towards the blue line and the puck taken away. Jacob Wagner back in the outlaw zone. Shoots it past the net. Puck behind the net. Passed out up high to Breedlove. Breedlove moving along the blue line, passing it off to the left in McKinnon. McKinnon trying to go back across. Here's Sean Scott, a shot, missed the net. Puck bounces back to Scott. Oh, and he gets no wood on the shot in the right circle. He's behind the net. Brings it out to the far side. Now McKinnon on the left point. Flipping it down the wall. And cleared out. And it's coming towards the Summit Page goal, stopped by Greenwell. And he's going to keep it going. He's going to pass it off to Breedlove. And it's cleared out. But then brought back in offside by Jacob Schenk as Caleb Kuhn was trying to get out of the zone. 4:04 to go in the second. 3-1 Summit Page. Garner and Schenk with the goals in this second period. Schenk for the Outlaws, Garner for Summit. Draw on the dot across from the Outlaw bench is won by the Outlaws. And taken away by Summit Page and cleared. Puck back in the Outlaws zone. Eli McLemore with it, trying to defend against Hunter Haley, who takes it away. Pass out up top to Garner, but off his stick and out. Puck was back in the outlaw zone, immediately cleared, and it's going to be iced by Elijah Freeman, Home Life Academy freshman, who was just behind the red line when he dumped it out. 3:27 to go in the second. 3-1 Summit Page lead. Both of these two teams, along with Indy and Centennial, are playing their first 3 games of the season in these next 7 days. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Aiden Garner with a puck for Summit inside his own zone. And it's taken away. Trying to put it out in front was Clive Keeler, freshman at Fairview in northwestern Williamson County. Now Keeler, right wing corner, trying to pass it out to the top of the right circle and Gage Eastland. Here's Aiden Garner trying to drop it back. Evan Duffy now. Clearing it out. Puck's back in the outlaw zone. Icing waved off. Eli McLemore tracks it down. Puck back in the Summit zone. Oh, it could have been a 2-on-0, but Jacob Rodriguez ran into Jacob Placentia and went down. He had A.J. Malloy all alone on the left wing side. Mason Breedlove will carry the puck out now. Breedlove back in the outlaw zone. It jumped up on him and got away. And now A.J. Malloy was all alone at center trying to get the puck for himself, but it goes to Jacob Placentia. Placentia across to Nathan White, but no, off the boards. And now here's a hard, not a very hard one-timer from Elijah Freeman that Jack Greenwell has to turn away, and an offside against the Outlaws. Puck just went over the blue line and was brought back in. 1:46 left in the second, 3-1 Summit still. So, like I said, the Outlaws and Summit are playing their first 3 games of the season in the next 7 days. On next week, they'll both play Nolensville Ensworth Lipscomb and USNBA Nashville Christian. Independence play Ravenwood tonight, MBA on Monday, and Franklin BGA next Wednesday. Centennial play Franklin BGA tonight, Brentwood on Monday, and Ravenwood next Wednesday. Here's Mason Breedlove trying to center for Cameron White, but getting in the way was Mason Anderson. One of the Outlaws seniors deflecting that pass away. Jacob Placentia back in the Outlaw zone on the left wing side. Behind the net. Last minute of the second. Puck was put out in front trying to get it to Cam White. Here's Jackson Crawford now in the left wing corner. Tried to pass it up the wall, but Cam White wasn't in the space where he needed to be. Puck sent ahead to Caden Cross, but it bounces over his stick and back into the Outlaw zone for an icing. 38.2 seconds left in the second. Still 3-1. Summit Page. Draw me to the left of Jack Greenwell. He hasn't had too many faceoffs in his zone tonight. One by Summit. James Gilmartin, and the puck poked off his stick by Gage Eastland as he tried to bring it out. He gets it back and sends it back into the Outlaw zone. Icing waved off. Connor Ivey tracks it down. Here's Aiden Suss. Got 10 seconds left. Flips it back into the Summit zone. It's in the right wing corner. Icing waved off. They're running out of time. Puck put it in front. And right when it comes to Bob Cobb at the blue line, the clock hits 0. Each side with a goal here in the second. Jacob Schenk for the Outlaws. Aiden Garner for Summit Page. And it's Summit Page who lead 3-1 after 2. The Outlaws outshot Summit Page 4-2 in this second period. Although a lot of shot attempts in this period missed the net. Brentwood and JP2 should be getting close to getting underway by now. Out at Bellevue. Jack Greenwell still in goal for Summit Page. Braden Cypher still in goal for the Outlaws. This third period, Outlaws will move the puck from my left to right and Summit from my right to left. As Summit win the draw, bring it into the Outlaw zone, and a shot from the wall, gloved and held on to by Cyphers. It's Cameron White with a shot. As we use just 9 seconds of this Third period for that play. Draw to the left of Cyphers, won by the Outlaws and iced. And that used up another 9 seconds. Draws to Cyphers left once again. Won by the Outlaws. Aiden Suss out at center. Pushed into the wall by Aiden Garner as he crosses the Summit blue line. Or correction, that's not Garner. He doesn't have the long hair. And now back the other way, a centering pass for Jackson Crawford, broken up in the Outlaws slot. Jacob Licentia. Passing ahead. Cameron White in the Outlaws zone. On the left wing, taking a shot off the right leg pad of Cyphers. Rebound stopped by Cyphers. He's got Jackson Crawford in front as White brings the puck out from behind the net. Left circle, trying to find room, passing out to the right point. Now that's Aiden Garner. Off to White again, one-timer stopped by Cyphers. White again on the right half wall. Puck poked away, Garner holds it in. Garner moving down the right wing, back to White. White back up top to Jonah Ferguson. His shot missed the net. Jacob Wagner tried to get a tip but couldn't get the stick on it. Caleb Kuhn will carry the puck out. Across to little brother Joshua, left wing side of the Summit zone, trying to go back across to Caleb. Couldn't get his stick on it. Puck back out in the left wing corner now. Put out in front for Shank, shot, a score! Caleb Kuhn finds Jacob Shank in front and he puts it in the back of the net. Second goal of the game, second for the Outlaws, and it's 3-2 Summit with 12:11 to go in the third. Here comes Summit. Offside. Sean Scott bringing the puck in, but Mason McKinnon crossed the blue line before he did. Draw one by Summit. Run into the Outlaw zone and a shot past the net by Jacob Wagner. Now, it's Elijah Freeman nudging the puck into the Summit zone. Jacob Rodriguez couldn't hang on to it. Now it's out in front for Freeman, but covered up by Jack Greenwell. Draw one by the Outlaws, and a shot from the right point turned away by Greenwell right off the draw. That from Wyatt Welty. And now a shot from the right circle up in the air and over the net. Shot from Freeman. Shot from the left circle misses the net. That was Eli McLemore. Now Welty right point. Sends it down low, puck deep. Coming back up top to Welty at the right point, and he whiffed on the shot. James Gilmartin carries it out. Tapped away from the Outlaw blue line. Now Gilmartin with it again. It's back in the Outlaw zone at the left point. Gilmartin tried to pass across, intercepted by A.J. Malloy, who clears. Puck back in the Summit zone, left wing side. Jacob Arrigue tried to center, but it was intercepted right in front of the net and cleared out by Jackson Crawford. Jackson Crawford back in the Outlaw zone, leaving the puck. Tried to leave it for Cameron White. It was taken away and brought back into the Summit zone. Puck behind the net. Aiden Garner. Garner trying to bring it back in the Outlaw zone. Puck poked off his stick. Jackson Crawford with it now. Left circle shot missed the net. There's a shot from Cam White off the outside netting on the far side. Here's Crawford. Puck rolled away from him. Now Mason Anderson sending it around to the near side. Going to be held in at the left point by Mason Breedlove. Now White down low. Double teamed by Hayden Hall and Anderson. Now Aiden Suss with the puck. Banks it off the near boards. Held in. Suss trying to clear and again held in at the left point by Crawford. Crawford's shot blocked by Gage Eastland. Puck out in front and a backhander from Lawrence. Turned away by Cyphers. Puck held in at the right point and a shot knocked down by the stick of Lawrence, but it was blocked. And now here's Keeler. Clive Keeler, right wing side of the Summit zone. Pushed into the boards. Puck out on that far side. And cleared. Connor Ivey ahead to Jacob Schenk, who let it go off his stick back into the Summit zone. It was dropped back into the Outlaws end and it missed Bob Cobb. Sent back into the Summit zone, but cleared out. And then brought back in offside by the Outlaws with 8:02 to go. 3-2, Summit lead. Draw right in front of the Summit bench. Jacob Schenk behind the net, puts it out in front, and a shot missed the net from Caleb Kuhn. Puck was sent back in by Connor Ivey, but blocked before it could ever get to Greenwell. Now it's sent back into the Outlaw zone. Icing was waved off. Caden Cross coming out in front, puck knocked off his stick by Jacob Schenk. And cleared out. And this could be an icing against the Outlaws. Nope, it's going to slow way down. Allow Jacob Placentia to pick it up. Now is Caden Cross, right wing side of the Outlaw zone. Tried to put it out in front, but it went behind the net. And here's Schenk. Head to Caleb Kuhn on the left wing side. Drops it back for Schenk. Try to go across to Mac Brothers, but it misses him. And now here is Jacob Wagner back in the Outlaw zone. Tried to drag it past Jacob Schenk. Had to go off his stick and just sat there. And then Sean Scott backhands it over the net. Now we got a penalty coming up against the Outlaws. And it's against Schenk. A slash called against Jacob Schenk, so Summit Page returning to the power play up 3-2 with 6:42 to go. Draw is going to be to Braden Cyphers right. Won by the Outlaws and Hayden Hall, excuse me, knocked down a Summit player, and now Mason Breedlove with a shot from in tight. It's blocked. And Hayden Hall fought off that Summit player big time to hang on to that puck. Puck back deep in the Summit zone and retrieved by the Spartans. And now brought out. Jackson Crawford. I'm sorry, it's Cam White. Dropping it back, and a shot turned away by Cyphers. It's from Jackson Crawford. Puck held in at the right point. James Gilmartin. Down low. Put out in front. Gilmartin had to go off his stick. Here's Hayden Hall. Dumping it back into the Summit zone. Jack Greenwald trying to say it's icing, but the Outlaws are shorthanded, so that can't be called for icing. Minute left in the power play for Summit. Hayden Hall getting it back into the Summit zone, sending it deep so he can change. Now a stretch pass up the far side. Cam White, right wing side of the Outlaws zone. He's got nobody in a red sweater with him just yet. He's waiting. Now he's in the goal line behind the net. Trying to drive it behind the net for Crawford, but Crawford's going to have to go chase it to the far boards. 30 seconds left in the power play for Summit. Puck cleared out by Gage Eastland. Eastland, a senior at Friendship Christian in Wilson County. Here come Summit Page, Aiden Garner. Back into the Outlaw zone, a shot blocked by Connor Ivey. His penalty time against the Outlaws expires, and they're back at even strength. And icing called against the Outlaws right as they go back on even strength. 4:37 to go, still 3-2 Summit. Draws to the right of Cyphers. Won by Summit. White Welty had it taken away. Hunter Haley centering. Oh, good stop by Cyphers on the redirect from Caden Cross. And he covers up. Draws to the left of Cyphers. Won by Summit. Sent towards the net. And it was deflected on goal by his own man, Whalety, and he stops and covers. Draw to the left of Cyphers again. Won by Summit. Caden Cross. Shot. Blockered into the netting above the glass. Actually shouldered into it by Cyphers. Draw to the left of Cyphers, won by the Outlaws, brought into the Summit zone. Taken away and cleared. Now it's brought back into the Outlaw zone on the right wing side. Dropped up to the right point, but Jacob Shank takes it away and clears it. Caleb Kuhn now, right wing side of the Summit zone. Try to pass across to Shank. Now Kuhn behind the net, wanted to put it out in front for little brother Josh. Puck popped up into the air. Jacob Placentia trying to knock it down. And it's going to be iced by Summit. 3:24 to go, and they're up 3-2. Draw to the left of Greenwell, won by the Outlaws. He's getting it over to the left wing side, sending it down. It's behind the net. Now right point, Hayden Hall. Try to pass it down, but put it right into the skates of Jacob Wagner, who fell over trying to clear it out. Now Hall getting it back deep. Puck out on the far side, and it's going to be carried out. It's in the Outlaws zone at the left wing corner. Now Mason McKinnon, left circle shot, deflected over the net by the stick of Hayden Hall. Puck out on the far side, it's held in. Hudson Halter's flipping it towards the net, and it goes just past the net to the right of Cyphers. Puck held in at the left point. Mason McKinnon, a shot off the right leg pad of Cyphers. Puck cleared out by Jacob Rodriguez, but right under the stick of Mason Breedlove at center. He's got to wait for a couple of his teammates to get back on side. An Outlaw stick knocked it into the Outlaw zone anyway. And now here's Aiden Suss, left wing side of the Summit zone. Tried to pass to A.J. Malloy in the slot. That was broken up. Now Breedlove. Right wing side of the Outlaw zone. Going to the slot. A shot gloved and held on to by Cyphers with 1:57 to go and Summit up 3-2. And the Outlaws are going to use their timeout. Draws to the left to Cyphers. His timeout is done, and the puck dribbling in front of the net. Sticked away. Put out in the slot. Oh, and it floated past the net by Cameron White. Puck held in. Placentia shot turned away. Now the puck, Cyphers was down with James Gilmartin standing on the right-hand side of the net, but he couldn't flip it over. Puck still in the Outlaw zone. Jackson Crawford working down the left wing. Tried to send it towards the net. Comes over to Cam White off an Outlaw skate. Now here's Crawford, left wing corner. Gilmartin bringing it out in front. Here's Crawford. Shot from his knees. Oh, and it goes into the netting above the glass. I think it went off his stick. 65 seconds to go. Still 3-2 Summit. Draw one by the Outlaws, and they're bringing Braden Cyphers to the bench. Final minute of the game. Puck out in front of the Summit net. Oh, and set wide. Summit clearing the puck. This will be an icing. 42.9 seconds left. Draw is going to be to the left of Jack Greenwell. Summit with the puck. Cleared into the Outlaw zone. This will be another icing. Was Hunter Haley. 31.1 seconds to go. Draw's going to be to the right of Jack Greenwell this time. Won by the Outlaws, and a shot missed the net from Caleb Kuhn. Puck held in at the right point. Hayden Hall is shot deflected over to the far boards. 20 seconds left. Puck up against the boards deep. Caleb Kuhn getting pushed down behind the net. Puck in the right wing corner. And we're going to have a penalty coming up here as the clock runs down to 0, and Summit Page get the win to open the season. Oh! And we got, I think it's Cameron White shoving with an Outlaw player. I can't see who it is from here. Looks like it's Jacob Shank as Summit Page hang on and win 3-2 to open the season. See, in the end, Jack Greenwell made 27 saves on 20. Jack Greenwell made 10 saves on 12 shots. Braden Sivers made 26 on 29. Jacob Shank had both the Outlaws' goals, but each of these Summit Page goals were scored by a different player. Mason Breedlove had the first. Second came from Hunter Haley, and Aiden Garner had what turned out to be the game winner. So I'll give Aiden Garner player of the game for having the game-winning goal. As Summit Page started the season off with a victory 3-2 over the Outlaws. Summit Page will play, when do they play again? I might have to pull up the schedule here and go to October. They both play again on Monday. Come on, GNASH website, really? Why are you being so slow tonight? Outlaws play USNBA Nashville Christian on Monday, and Summit Page played Nolensville Lipscomb. The team that 2/3 of them beat in the Hein Cup final back in February on the 24th. So that is it for the opening game of the 2022-2023 GNASH season. Summit Page. Coming up next in just a few minutes, we will bring you Independence taking on Ravenwood.